Hello everyone, Bob Lewis around the world. In today's lesson, we're going to be bringing something out that's very important, something that everybody needs to know. So, we've been destroying a lot of false doctrine on the channel recently, and also simply just pointing out some huge hypocrisy from the sons and daughters of Japhet and even the sons and daughters of Israel. Because recently we did a lesson talking about, the title of the lesson was White People Were Brown People. And we discussed how even the Caucasians, the sons and daughters of Japhet's ancestors, were brown. And in the process, we completely destroyed white supremacy because these Japhites who go around insulting the sons and daughters of Shem and Ham for being brown and push the idea of white supremacy, their ancestors weren't even white. All right, you go far back enough, Tower of Babel time period, and even their ancestors were brown. And we discussed in that lesson how dark skin is not something that's copyrighted by descendants of Shem and Ham, and all humans started off dark-skinned, all right? And then this got lighter over time by albino genes and all that other type of stuff, all right? So another thing that we exposed is how it's hypocrisy, how many Israelites try to dehumanize and hurt the sons and daughters of Japhet by bringing up their Neanderthal DNA, trying to say that they're not human and they don't have a chance at salvation because of Neanderthal DNA and that they're monkeys and all that, when all so-called races have Neanderthal DNA, Israelites included. So if you're Israelite calling a Japhite a monster because of Neanderthal DNA, you're a hypocrite because you have Neanderthal DNA as well. And we've already covered that the Neanderthals were not the Nephilim. They don't fit nothing about the Nephilim that we see in Scripture. So that's another false doctrine as well. But what we're going to be reading today? So what we're going to be reading today is that all human haplogroups actually go back to a common ancestor. Let's get a load of this. It is true that all human haplogroups share a common ancestor, as they are a part of a single human family tree. So all haplogroups come from a single human family tree. In other words, it's ethnicity, it's nation. The Most High Yah always knows best. There's a reason why the Most High Yah, Yahuwah, was always about nation, seed, because race doesn't exist. We're all humans, you see. So all of these different haplogroups that are tied to specific nations of people still come from one human family tree. Okay, let's keep going. It is true that all human haplogroups share a common ancestor, as they are a part of a single human family tree. All Y chromosomes, paternal, and I ain't gonna try that word, maternal haplogroups descend from a single ancestor known as Y chromosome Adam, and that other word, Eve, who lived thousands of years ago in Africa. Okay, so what is the AI trying to tell us here? So we all share a common ancestor when you go thousands of years back in time, and they call one of these chromosomes Adam and one of these chromosomes Eve, and they claim that these people lived in Africa. All right, so every single human shares a common ancestor with this couple from Africa. I wonder what they're trying to say. Are they trying to say that Adam and Eve did not look like Steve Rogers and Taylor Swift? I wonder what they're admitting. Key details regarding this common ancestry include: a haplogroup is a group of similar haplotypes, DNA sets that share a common ancestor through a specific maternal or paternal lineage. Eve and Adam and Y Adam, all living humans share a common ancestor in their maternal line, Eve, from roughly 200,000 years ago, and all males share a paternal Y with Y chromosome Adam. Broad time frame: while members of the same haplogroup share a common ancestor, that ancestor often lived thousands or tens of thousands of years ago. All maternal haplogroups found outside of Africa are branches of the original L haplogroup, confirming all branches lead back to one source. While all modern humans share a common ancestor, haplogroups represents a small specific portion of a person's total ancestry. Okay, why did I want to bring this up? So, there's a brother who I used to watch, all right, and he's brought out a lot of good truth over the years. He's completely smashed the Esau's the white man doctrine, crushed it. But here's where he went wrong, all right? So he started to take the turn that the Japhites, when he talked about the fact that the Japhites' DNA does not match ours and therefore they're ineligible to be Esau, that's true, completely factual, because Esau and Jacob would have the same haplogroup and their haplogroup would originate in the same place. But the Caucasian comes from a completely different letter series and his haplogroup does not originate in the same place that ours does. It's not even from the same branch of haplogroups, all right? Esau's not the white man. But here's where the brother went wrong. He started to bring up Neanderthals and Nephilim and depict the Caucasians as being not human. So his argument was, your brother Esau's not a Neanderthal. So his whole thing about Esau not being the white man is that white people are not human. Esau is indeed not white people. He's not follower of the culture of peoples. However, white people are indeed human. And I wanted to bring this up because sometimes you got people who will bring out the truth, but for the wrong reasons. Just like you have Israelites who will bring out the truth that we are the true chosen people, the true chosen seed of Israel, but they do it for the wrong reasons because they use it for a supremacist mindset and they doom all other nations to hellfire and destruction. So I wanted to bring this out to show that all humans are descendants of Adam and Eve. And even the so-called white man has black ancestors. All right. And one of the things like I covered in the white people were once brown people lesson is we need to get this out of our head, that this idea out of our head that black means Jacob. All right. Or that black means Hebrew, that black means Shem. Because Adam and Eve were people of color and they're the ancestor of all of mankind. So white people having black ancestors 7,000 years ago does not mean that they're connected and affiliated with us. They're not, okay? They're human, they're affiliated with us that way, but they're not Hebrews, they're not Shem, they're not Esau, all that's a lie, all right? Black people were not only Shem and Ham. Adam and Eve, people of color, who founded all of humanity, okay? And I wanted to bring this out because, like we already covered, us Israelites have Neanderthal DNA, so we shouldn't even be talking, all right? So if we're talking about Neanderthal, monkey DNA, all that type of stuff, we're calling ourselves monkeys. So it's really bad. But anyways, this was just a little short lesson. This will probably go in the Nuggets of Truth playlist. Hope this helped. I wanted to clear this up because I mention a lot in my lessons exposing the wicked Esau's the white man doctrine, how Caucasians don't even have a genetic link to us that they would need to be Esau. But I wanted to make it clear that when I'm saying that, I'm not saying that they're not human. They have the genetics of being human, but we're talking about nation. This is exactly why race is a devil doctrine around race is a trap. All right, because from a nation standpoint, they are not affiliated with us. They're not descendants of Abraham. All right, from a blood genetic connection standpoint, it is completely debunked and impossible for them to be Esau. All right, but we are not the measuring stick of someone being human or not. It's like someone not being related to Jacob does not mean that they are not human. And that's another mistake where we have this pride that us Israelites are the pinnacle of being human. And if you don't look like us and if you're not related to us, that means you're not. That's a lie. All right. Okay. So anyways, hope this lesson helped. And yeah, just wanted to put this out there. That, yes, the so-called white man is not genetically connected to the Israelites. But from a human standpoint, we all have a common ancestor, Adam and Eve. All right? So it's different nations, not different races. Anyways, hope this lesson helped, and bye for now.